We're back, back again. ReTrekking's back. Tell a friend. What's up, Dylan?
I like how you're changing the intro on us, like every other episode now.
Yeah. Give us a summary. What episode are we on, Dylan?
We're on episode 16, which is, I believe it's called Too Short a Season. Like, we'll have to look that up, but I'm pretty sure it's Too Short a Season. But, anyways, the plot summary is as follows. Excuse me. The Enterprise picks up an old admiral named Jameson who is requested by Karnas, a man on a planet that has a history of civil war. According to Karnas, rebels have taken hostages and will only speak to a Starfleet mediator. Jameson is afflicted with Iverson's disease, which drastically reduces his physical capabilities and essentially confines him to the futuristic version of a wheelchair. But strangely, as time goes on, he seems to be getting better. It is revealed that he has been taking an alien compound which basically reduces his age. But he takes it too fast, and the effects on him are drastic and basically confine him to the sickbay for a while. But meanwhile, Karnas reveals that there are no rebels and that it was him that took the hostages, and that he hasn't forgiven Jameson for some kind of past transgression. Jameson explains to Picard that in the past he sold weapons to Karnas as part of another hostage negotiations deal. But in trying to make things right, he sold weapons to Karnas' enemies as well to try and level the playing field, but that plunged the planet into a decades-long civil war. Karnas eventually emerged victorious, but not without much bloodshed. Picard beams down with Jameson to meet Karnas, and after watching Jameson suffer and die from the drug he took, Karnas agrees to release the hostages. And our story pretty much ends there.
Yeah.
Woo!
So,
it's a fun episode.
No
No bad things at all.
I don't hate this episode, but I didn't like it a lot either.
I will say that compared to what we've been dealing with, I actually thought this was a fairly decent episode. It's nothing particularly stellar, but compared to what we've dealt with in the past, it's definitely very focused and has a clear goal in mind. And the actual, I don't know if you can really count it as a B-plot, but, there's the plot of them trying to go to the planet, but then there's also that plot of him taking the drug, but it all kind of coalesces together that I can't really tell if, one's the B-plot, if they're just both kind of part of the main plot. But I will say that it's definitely much more focused than the other episodes. So
I would say it was all just one main plot, which is better than having some... They've had some really terrible B-stories that utterly fail at being a thing.
Hey, let's, cut to Geordi and Data talking about shaving for about 5 minutes.
Well, at least that wasn't a B-story. That was just a straight-up scene that could have come from anywhere. But it was all around a decent enough Trekkie kind of episode, but... my main observation is that I just really don't like the Admiral in this. I don't know if it's the makeup that they did on him. Just the voice he used kind of sounded like a Muppet to me. Because he's supposed to just sound old and feeble, but he was like, rah, 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 rah. It's weird acting. I don't know.
Probably partially because, it's not an older guy it's not an older guy trying to act young, it's a younger guy trying to act old, I'm pretty sure.
Yep.
Which is why when he suddenly regresses to the equivalent of, late 20s, early 30s, I want to say. Probably younger than that. But when he regresses to that, he feels much more natural. I do agree with that statement, though, that he is just kind of rah, rah, rah.
His voice is just funny sounding in the beginning.
Yeah. But like I said, that's mostly due to the fact that it is a younger guy trying to play an older guy rather than vice versa. But I will say, since we're going with the Admiral, that the one good I had from this episode, I thought he was actually a fairly interesting one-off character. Because most of the one-off characters we actually get are just really kind of... They have very little depth to them, and they're just kind of there, whereas this guy
is lightly.
What?
I said, to put it lightly, they have no character.
Yeah, but this guy actually has, he has a full backstory that we sort of flesh out as time goes on. And, it's a fairly cliche character, man haunted by a deed he did in the past trying to seek redemption. But, I mean, it works for what it is. As cliched as it is, it works well for this episode. And definitely sets, a nice tone of mystery and suspense, oh, what did he do, etc., etc.
Yeah.
That actually strings you along fairly well compared to other episodes where it's just like, oh hey, here's this mystery that we're going to talk about in the first 5 minutes, and then you're not going to hear about it until like 10 minutes before the close. So
Yeah.
have fun with that, guys.
I think along with his Muppet voice that he used when he was old and other stuff, one of the things that made him feel weird is that he almost comes off like he's supposed to be like totally bonkers evil in the beginning. Like the way that he seems like all sneaky. That's the way that they characterize him. And then it turns out that it's like he just kind of made a mistake. But I was expecting him to be like all out just bad dude.
Yeah.
Because they keep putting him in all these shadows and
Yeah, I was about to
sneaks
say,
around
I
his wife
remember,
and acts shady as all hell.
I remember the scene where he's sitting in the conference room talking to Karnas, which is the scene where Karnas reveals that, he's the one that has the hostages and it's not, anyone else. But, like, the whole time, Jameson's face is just in complete shadow, and it was just really weird.
Yeah.
Like, I think they were trying to, like, sort of disguise the fact that he was getting, like, much younger or something, but I don't really understand what the deal with that was. It was just weird.
Yeah, I think it's because he was now, like, 18 looking or whatever, and he didn't want Karnas to know. I don't know.
Like, he was weird though, because even in that scene, you can still tell he has, like, whitish hair. So I guess, yeah, I don't know.
But they just kept, like, directing him in a way, and he acted because of his weird voice. All this just combined into a thing where I was like, oh, he did something really, really evil, where it's like, oh, he just kind of did something dumb.
Yeah.
And I don't know.
It is a little odd.
But I honestly don't have that much to say about the episode other than that it's just kind of average. And his voice is stupid.
Yeah, I enjoyed it. Like, I will say that, like, I wasn't ever really bored with it like I have been with so many of the episodes we've watched in the past.
Oh, no. But, compared to the last episodes, this was a cakewalk to watch.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, this is one that you actually finished. I know you haven't finished a couple of the episodes in the past.
I finished every single one multiple times, Dylan.
Don't tell anyone. It's a secret. But, okay, moving on, the one bad I had was that during the final scene, like, the little climax thing where they're on the planet and dealing with Karnas, there's just this weird point where, because at first he doesn't believe that it's actually Jameson because he's, like, 20 years old at this point or something. But then once, like, they convince him that it is him, he's like, now I'm going to kill you or something, and pulls out a gun. And then goes, no, wait, I'm going to watch you suffer, and that'll be your atonement or something like that.
Because he was in so much pain. That
and
Karnas
then immediately
was like, yeah.
And then suddenly immediately he's just like, so much pain. Like, he suddenly just starts to feel sorry for him. And then right after Jameson dies, it's almost like...
He's like, rest now, brother, or whatever.
Yeah, something like that. And it was just this really weird progression that happened way too fast for me. I wasn't buying it.
Yeah.
Because it was something that, usually plays out over, like, an entire movie length of time. But in this episode, it plays out in the span of, like, a minute.
Yeah.
And it doesn't feel right. Especially considering that this is a guy who's been plotting who's basically been plotting his revenge or seething with anger at this guy for about 40 years.
A lot of the one-off end of the episode people are like that, though. The next episode that we'll do has the same thing, and one of the earlier ones did, where it's like, I'm bad, and now I see how I was wrong, or whatever. And it's not just this episode.
Oh yeah, it happens in a lot of TV where it's like they're getting to the close because they have, roughly 44, 45 minutes of time to actually do this stuff in. That's usually what a television show is, even nowadays. And it just comes down to the fact that sometimes they just don't have enough time to realistically, have realistic character progression, I guess. So you just have to work with what you get. And sometimes what you get is like, boom, boom, boom.
Like in the next episode, which we're going to record today, but put up in a couple days, like the last guy literally goes from like, you have destroyed us, to the next line he has in the episode is like, we were so blind. We were so blind. So it wasn't as bad as that, but...
Yeah, it wasn't quite that bad, but it did just strike me as weird.
Yeah.
Because it was like...
Because he was so angry. He was an angry warmonger dictator. And then he just is like, oh, he died, so everything's fine now. I'm sorry.
Like he went through the stage... It's like he went through all the stages of grief in, like, a minuscule span of time. It was just strange to me.
Yeah. I mean... Oh, sorry, what?
But I mean, like, compared to the rest of the episode, like, it sticks out, but it doesn't, like, really tarnish the rest of the episode, I guess.
So yeah, I don't know. I don't have much else to say other than, like I said before, I think you probably disagree because we've hated the B-plots in all the episodes, but I feel like this could have actually used one. Because it didn't drag too bad, it's just, it could have used something else happening, because not a lot really happens. It's just kind of Picard being, like, the main cast is kind of sidelined a lot.
Yeah.
And Picard is just like, what's wrong with him? He's being weird. Now he's de-aging.
Yeah. I would disagree with you on that because I don't really know how a B plot would have fit in here, and I do understand what you're saying by like not much really happening, but that's honestly a lot of Star Trek. Like not much really happens in a lot of the episodes. Like it is just like
I know. Maybe it's just because the Admiral bothers me a lot. So
yeah, maybe like his Muppet-esque old voice is just like bugging you, so you're just like
it
I want
skews my
something
perception
else,
of the whole episode a little bit, probably.
Yeah. Like I said, I don't really know like what B plot they could have thrown in there that would have.
I could have just used a random Data character development scene, maybe.
Today,
Data's building a model ship.
Yeah, they do quite a bit of those.
He was painting in one.
Yeah, I think that was the episode before this one with the Binars. He was like, he was trying to express creativity or something.
It had nothing to do with anything.
Yeah, but that's the nature of a lot of like Data scenes. Like they're good, but they have like nothing to do with anything else in the plot usually.
Well, I got nothing else to say. Are you done?
Yeah, I think I'm done. I guess I would probably rate this episode 7.5 Muppet voices out of 10.
Yeah, I give it like a 6, 5 or 6, like average, right in the middle.
I guess I'm sort of attuned to the idea that 7 is average because that's what, for some reason, so many people do.
Well, it makes no damn sense, Dylan.
Well, you know what? I don't care.
Well, what's the next episode?
The next episode is, I believe, When the Bow Breaks. So,
okay.
I'll actually be recording that right after this, but you'll see that one in couple of days after this one.
This is the shortest one we've ever done, I think. But later, everybody.
Bye.
Bye.